Yeah, this is going to be like a fantastic little 20-minute panel. Hi everybody, I'm Erik Evjen. Yeah, this is going to be fun. We're still waiting on Lauren and Kuldes, who's one of our cosplay representatives, and Melissa Crawford, who's also one of our cosplay representatives, so they would be one and two here. I'm Erik Evjen, as previously mentioned. I'm the founder of IGRE Publishing. We are the publishers of Swordland RPG, which is a new D12-based role-playing fantasy game system we're working on. Also, the scriptwriter and co-creator of Songs of Araya, which is going to be a fantasy comic set within the standard default setting of Elios for the Swordland system. As mentioned before, we're still waiting on a couple other people to show up today. As far as other things I do, I'm actually the president of the Sandbaggers Game Club in Great Falls, Montana. I'm also board of directors on the Great Falls Gaming Rendezvous convention that's held every October in Columbus Day weekend over there in Great Falls. I also freelance write for Role Players Society Publishing, and we're still working on getting stuff set up for those guys. So as far as IGRE Publishing goes, we're relatively new. We haven't officially incorporated as a business yet. It started back in 2013 when we wanted to go ahead and move forward with actually starting towards publishing material. So we operate as an independent role-playing game and entertainment publisher. We haven't branched out into third-party support like for systems like 3rd edition, World's Greatest Fantasy Role-Playing Game, or Pathfinder, or any other system yet. We're solely operating right now on developing new and independent content outside of any other publisher's work currently. As far as other people I'd like to mention on IGRE Publishing who were not able to make it today, Erica Pocklington is our staff event artist. She does all the wonderful little art. So say these little guys here, she does those for every single convention, other day-long event that we attend as IGRE Publishing. She's also co-creator and the illustrator for the Songs of Araya comic project. She will be here later today for the How to Make Manga panel at 7 p.m. tonight. Other people that we have with IGRE Publishing, we have Alexia Roman, who's our main illustrator for the Swordland RPG project. She lives in Naples, France, I believe, so that would be a little bit of a long journey for her. And also out in France, we have Adelie Grandette, who's also one of our illustrators for the Swordland project. Few other people that are attached with us that were unable to make it. We have Robert Thompson, who was the original owner of Four Winds Fantasy Gaming, which is another role-playing game manufacturer, publisher. He was hopefully going to attend today, but was not able to due to other concerns. So unfortunately, he wasn't able to attend today. There's a few others. We have Jack Berberet, who's our website designer. We're hoping to get the IGRE Publishing website up within the next couple of months here. We also have We Will, who's another illustrator for Swordland RPG. And Charles White, who's another one of our consultants. Robert serves as an editor. Charles White, who runs Fabled Environments, which is another publisher. He will be assisting IGRE Publishing once we start moving and actually publishing material towards writing pantheons and deities for Swordland RPG projects. So that's mainly the majority of the staff we have. It's kind of a really diverse team. Granted, most of us do live in Montana, but we have people as far away as We Will actually lives in the Philippines. So there's a few of us that are kind of scattered all over the place, but I appreciate all of them. So it's really nice. Since at first, back in 2013, the only two people that were actually associated with IGRE Publishing was me at first when I decided to open up the company. Then there was a small period of time beforehand where Alexia Roman, or her artist handle Safi, was doing art for me on a private commission basis based on other kind of just like personal role-playing campaigns I was running, and she was doing the art for that. Then basically I just approached her and was like, do you want to be the head illustrator for this crazy new project I'm working on? And she's like, sure. So for nearly a year, it was just me and Alexia working on projects and her doing the art while I was doing the writing for Swordland RPG. And then within the last year, like, we kind of quadrupled in size, so we went from 2 people up to nearly like a team of 10, 12 at this point. So it was really awesome just to get that much kind of support behind what I'm working on, and a lot of people really just kind of are very, I don't know how you'd say it, or how I would want to phrase this. I love those guys for wanting to help out, and definitely appreciate what they do for me. Moving aside from mentioning everybody on staff, what I'd like to go over is basically a rundown of projects that we have ongoing for IGRE Publishing, and also actually the pronunciation of IGRE Publishing, which is IGRE Publishing. It's an acronym which stands for Interesting Game Rules and Entertainment. It's a handle that we've tried to live up to, so we hope that all of our projects upcoming in the future are going to be entertaining for you guys. Our main flagship project, as previously stated, is Swordland RPG. It's a D12-based fantasy role-playing game system. It does have its roots in the 3.0/3.5 open game license used for the world's greatest fantasy role-play game, but essentially what we did for Swordland was rip out the majority of the original material in the OGL and just started basically building on top of base classes, spells. Just generally enough of a familiar core for players to say, oh, I'm playing a fighter, or I'm playing a wizard, and I'm casting a magic missile or fireball, but the underlying mechanics behind the game are pretty much completely brand new. So we essentially built the system to be simplified in comparison to a lot of systems already out there on the market, yet still be modifiable enough that you could have newbies, complete total brand new players, be able to pick up the system within a couple of days and be able to play it like they've been playing it for years. But at the same time, for experienced players, we have enough adaptability in the system that they can add content to it and make it as complex as they want. So it's kind of like meeting a middle ground. We want people to have a very simple narrative storytelling experience without having too many rules get in the way. But if people want those rules, then they can just add them as they want. So that's the main gist of the Swordland project. We're hoping to get that out by 2015. We were aiming for December 2014 originally, but it's looking like we're going to be first quarter 2015. Second project, and our second largest project right now, is going to be the Songs of Araya comic. It's based within the default setting of Helios, which is the setting for Swordland RPG that we're developing. And it's basically a very grandiose kind of grand scale, essentially lore building material for the setting of Helios. It follows about a 3-year period of time in that world's history and so on and so forth, and brings out various characters that we use to illustrate the Swordland RPG project. So a lot of people are actually more familiar with the characters that we frequently display in the art than they are with the actual people making the game. So basically, we hadn't even really decided to go ahead with that right off the bat. We were more focused on putting on Swordland, but once Erica approached me saying I wanted to do the comic, then it was just kind of like, all right, let's get this off the bat. So that's actually probably going to hit a lot closer in the near future than the actual Swordland project. So hopefully within the next couple of months we'll have comic issues coming out. So that's going to be awesome. I can't say how excited I am about that. The third and final project that we're technically working on right now, outside of various rule books and source books for Swordland RPG, is we're actually working on a D12-based board game. That's really kind of hypothetically still early on in development, called Swordland Quests. And what that's going to do for us is essentially attempting to merge the role-playing game and board game markets into one. Since how Swordland Quest would operate is you basically have a card deck building mechanic behind it, where you'll have various little like dungeon maps and encounter maps, so on and so forth. So it's more based on like the combat mechanics of Swordland, but built to be more of an actual board game experience. And you'd be able to essentially kill monsters, buy loot, and find loot, and complete quests, all the standard stuff that you'd be able to do in a role-playing game, but get more of a board game feel behind it. And at the same time, you'd actually be able to have an interchangeable mechanic where you'd be able to take characters that you built in the Swordland RPG game, put it into the Swordland Quests as a fully built character for that game, and then you could do vice versa, take a character that you built in Swordland Quest, then import it over to Swordland RPG for the actual role-playing game experience. Other than that, we have a whole bunch of other various source books that we're working on for Swordland RPG right now. The core book we're hoping to get out by 2015. Our bestiary is going to be following soon after. Then we just have a whole lot of just other source books that we're working on, from a character catalog of just pre-built NPCs. We're going to have expanded options for the mass combat system in Swordland, and expanded options and material for all base classes in the system. Along with that, we're also working on various other new classes, magic items, whatnot, that we'll be putting out periodically as PDFs and eventual hardcover compilation material. So that's the main gist of everything we're working on. As far as our independent material, we are looking to eventually expand to doing third-party support for other publishers, such as IGRE Publishing or WotC's material. We haven't really kind of, so to say, put our feet into that yet, since we're still focused on getting our actual material out. Well, we're looking to expand and kind of put out material for every system that provides an open game license. With all of that taken care of, I'd say this is actually the fun part that you guys are looking forward to. This is the question and answer session. So this is going to be an Ask Me Anything style session. So if you want to ask about game design, or if you want to ask what I had for dinner last night, or anything in between, want to ask me about quantum physics, I'll try to answer to the best of my ability.
You're starting right now in print gaming right now, correct? And then you're also going to be doing computer gaming. Are you going to be doing, like, you did mention that there's a panel later about manga. Are you going to be like doing everything? Or are you just going to be focusing just on board games and computer games right now?
Well, actually, Swordland RPG is a tabletop role-playing game.
Oh, tabletop.
Yeah, so we don't really have any plans for computer games or video games right now. I mean, we've thrown around the idea on what we would like to pursue in the event we were going to go and do a role-playing computer game. If we were to go that route, I'd prefer to do like a traditional, say, early era, 80s, early 90s role-playing game versus, say, like a multiple online player RPG. That trying to go into that market is absolutely crazy when there's other bigger competitors out there, which is to say, it's kind of crazy to go out and attempt to do independent tabletop role playing when you have already bigger, more established guys. But there's enough of a market that we can make it. Not so much going into MMOs, so we're going to avoid that. So if we do computer games, it would be much later in the future when we're more established, since I don't want to waste the resources trying to catch up with the big guys in that market. So probably a traditional style role-playing game for computers, or probably actually more what I would like to do is like an adventure platforming type game, which I think would actually work better what we have for IGRE Publishing projects, or even say like if you ever played a beat 'em up game where you have like 4 players and you're all just kind of punching. So that's actually what I would really prefer to do, is something like a beat 'em up with swords and shields and spells and all that. I think that would actually probably be the best route to portray the material that we put out as IGRE Publishing. And I'm trying to remember what the extra part of your question was.
Are you just focusing mostly on gaming then?
Yes. I mean, we are doing the Songs of Araya comic project. However, our main focus is on the Swordland RPG project. We will be continuing to put out comic issues for Songs of Araya. It's going to actually be a pretty long-term project. Like, to be honest with you, like, we could probably easily go off like 5-10 years with the material that we have plotted out. Since the thing about Songs of Araya is actually the material that comprises the storyline for that was devolved from the original campaign that I ran. The first campaign I ran actually back in 2008 and then ongoing since 2010. So a lot of the characters that illustrate IGRE Publishing works, say everybody's favorite Krenna the Dark Elf Rogue, or Slee the Cleric, by the Wood Elf Ranger, actually all were played as characters in that campaign, whether it was me running them as NPCs or if other players took over the mantle of playing that character. So a lot of them, like, there's a sentimental value as to why I wanted to pick using those characters to represent iconic classes, since it was like, okay, like, when I started, it was like, the most generic thing I can think of is like a Wood Elf Ranger, and then I built a Wood Elf Ranger, and then like the character evolved over like so much material, like, I can't like let this go to waste. So, yeah, so Songs of Araya would basically adapt all of the original campaign transcripts and replays is what they're called, where you basically have like a transcript of what transpired during a game session and basically adapt that to an entertaining story format in a basically extended comic serial format. Yeah. So that one's going to be ongoing at all times. Primarily, though, our focus is on the role-playing game market. So that's kind of like our tie-in project, just to kind of cross-promote between the two different industries, comics and role-playing.
Oh, awesome.
Indeed.
How many illustrators do you actually have working with it now?
As far as illustrators, Alexia Roman, or Sappy, she's a head illustrator for Swordland. Adelie Grandet is another illustrator for Swordland. Will, who lives in Philippines. His actual name's Don, so yeah. But Will, he's in the Philippines, is another Swordland RPG illustrator. Erica Pocklington would be our fourth, and she's the event artist, so she does all the event artwork for IGRE Publishing appearances. And then she is the Songs of Araya illustrator, so that's all of her work going towards that project. We're looking to expand and get more illustrators for both projects, some to help out Erica, primarily also to help out Sappy and the other illustrators on the Swordland project. We're aiming for more of a traditional watercolor style when it comes to the Swordland project, so it's kind of hard trying to find those types of artists and recruit them on and hire them on, especially since the trend is for like 3D art now in the market. So we're trying to like break back into traditional, say 80s, 90s style artwork for RPGs.
Cool.
Indeed.
And so are you the main writer then, or you have other writers?
Yep, I'm actually pretty much the big guy. We're going to be expanding. I know of 2 people, and I don't really want to announce them yet, that will be assisting in the writing process. As far as Swordland RPG goes, it kind of seems egotistical to be like, I'm the one guy writing this thing, but at the same time, it was kind of a matter of, would I rather have like one unified vision and have the system basically flow perfectly from like start of book to end of book without having any conflicting like major changes in how mechanics work, or would I want to bring in a bunch of freelancers where they might turn in material where it might not completely jive with what we were originally aiming for Swordlands. So mainly it's me working on that project, though once we have the core rules all unified and cataloged and then compiled and actually published in book format, then we'll be adding on additional writers to put out supplement material, whether that's adventure modules or additional rules, so on and so forth. Songs of Araya is primarily, I'm the script writer for that, so there's a few people that actually would receive writing credits depending on what they did during the original campaigns that the comic projects adapted from. Primarily, though, it would be also me doing scripting and dialogue for that those comics. Again, For the most part, we will be looking to expand for writers in the future. I'm also going to be looking, once we do become more established, I wouldn't mind branching off and doing more independent comics. But at this point, just due to legality issues with operating as a kind of pseudo company at the point, we'll be adding additional writers once we officially incorporate. Indeed.
Well, like editors.
Editors, actually, Robert Thompson, who was mentioned previously, he's going to be our first editor for IGRE Publishing. I'm also looking at incorporating Jay Peters of Third Eye Games into the IGRE Publishing fold. So we'll be looking for more editors as well as time goes on. It's kind of the same boat. Say for artists, we're able to hire them on without many legal issues.
Yeah.
But when it comes to writers and such, there's kind of more stringent things going on in regards to hiring people. So when we officially incorporate, we'll be adding them at that point.
Try to get coffee, so.
Oh, okay, sounds
More
good.
than welcome to keep talking as far as I'm concerned.
Is that hard to
Sounds
like
good.
break into the editing?
Oh, no worries.
Is it hard to like break into like the editing field and that kind of thing?
As far as editors versus writers, actually, I would say from my freelance experience, it's a lot easier to become an editor in the role-playing game market than it is a writer. And I mean, in a way, it's kind of egotistical of me to start up an independent company just to publish my work, since it's kind of like a creative thing. When you're a freelance writer, you do give up some creative control over what you write, depending on the publisher. So that was the reason that I primarily, for the material I was coming up with, started IGRE Publishing. When it comes to being hired on by other publishers and such, there's a lot of competition when it comes to writers. And some publishers require pretty heavy credentials, whether it's degrees in English and such. I try priding on, I want to hire new talent, so I focus on finding people that haven't got the chance so we can hire them on eventually. When it comes to editors though, you're pretty much golden as long as you have a degree in English or in communications. And you'll most likely be required to send in resumes and such, depending on the publisher. But there's usually always a need for editors in the field, and you're going to have a lot much more luck actually going in and being hired on in that capability versus being a standard writer. Oh, and we have Lauren.
Sorry guys, started late.
It's all good.
Malfunction.
She's the one thing.
Yeah.
So this is Lauren in Kuldes. She is one of our cosplay reps for IGRE Publishing.
Good. Looks like you made it. It's time to get kicked out.
Yeah.
Looks like the next guy's coming up.
Yeah.
Just in time, I guess. I tried, I attempted.
Indeed. So yeah.
Well, I'm actually trying to break into the editing field right now.
Oh, okay.
So, are you guys? Do you guys have like a website, or do you have?
Yes. Right now we have one Facebook page, which is facebook.com/swordlandrpg. We are opening a IGREPublishing.com website. I'm working with our editor, our website editor, Jack Berberett, on that. We haven't opened that up yet. It's probably going to be another month or two. Definitely I'll get you contact information though, because I'm definitely interested in hiring on new talent. So yeah, definitely I'll get in touch with your panel.
Okay, perfect.
Indeed.
Okay.
Before we get kicked out, what's your background? What did you do before?
Wow.
Yeah,
I guess I got
too.
Yeah. You know, it's kind of like crazy for me, since originally what I was interested in was, I was actually kind of like a crazy punker rocker kid when I was younger. I mean, yeah.
Still is.
You should have heard the conversation I was having last night with this one guy, but I mean, I was playing like bass guitar, and I was playing occasional guitars, like screaming dirty, bad, foul lyrics in the microphone and such. All crazy stuff like that. So originally I was more of a musician, and actually it's kind of ironic, since I didn't get into role-playing until after high school, since I'd always wanted to, since it was like this weird kind of like barrier where it was like, I love all this nerdy stuff, and I love geeky stuff, and it's something I really enjoyed, but all my other friends would be like, you know, you're an idiot. Why do you like this stuff? So it was like that little cliche boundary, just kind of like I didn't get into stuff I really actually enjoyed till after high school, which was ironic since my original playing group was like, once we decided to play, it was like, oh, well, you know, I always wanted to play like this D&D game. And it was like, wait, so you mean we went through high school like 4 years together and then we just decide now to do it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of a jack of all trades. Like, I love playing music. I love the retro old video games. I just got a degree not too long ago. I'm actually looking to finish my second one up here next year. So I do a bit of everything. Like, you could ask me world history, and I'd be like, yeah, let's do it. So.
Yeah.
What's your degree in?
I have a associate's in Associate of Arts General Education. I'm going to be finishing Associate of Science up pretty soon here too. So concentration in business, hard science such as geology.
That's totally different from this.
Yeah, it's yes.
It's okay. It takes more around it, I think.
Any questions for Lauren?
I don't have any. It's okay. I don't take offense to it.
I like your hair though.
Oh, thank you. I was really hard on it.
Is that a wig or is it down?
It is a wig. Most definitely, yes.
That'd be awesome though if you had hair like that all the time.
I don't know if I would be able to like just keep it up because having this kind of colored hair, like I've dyed my hair before, so like dyeing this on a consistent basis with like this kind of length, I don't think I can do it. That'd be consistent every week kind of thing. So wigs are always good for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or go ahead.
Eric told us a little bit about what you do with the company, but
All
could you
right.
tell us again?
So I am one of the cosplay representatives. What I basically do is I go to events like these and I cosplay as one of the characters he has requested me to cosplay as. Like Karina, the dark rogue elf. That's the one I'm going to be doing pretty soon here. But I was not able to get it done this weekend because of certain things like craft foam, but really hard to work with. But if anything, it's really fun and it's a really good experience, especially for if you just want to be a cosplayer in general. This is something definitely that you do because then you have more options are given to you once you get sponsored by somebody else. Other people start seeing it and go like, oh hey, she's pretty good. You know, so they want to hire you on and go like, hey, can you do this for us? And you're like, yeah, I can do that. Or you can say no, which everyone's welcome to say no, of course. But if anything, I'm just here as a cosplayer, and I have seen information on the game, and it seems pretty enjoyable from what I've seen, and a lot easier from what I've heard than D&D. So I guess it's a really good starting position for people who are just like, I don't know if I can play D&D. It makes me so nervous, you know. So this would be a really good place to start off with, and from the storyline and everything I've heard, I'm in love with it, of course, already. But you know, it's fun. I enjoy this. I thoroughly do. Cool.
Indeed. And I gotta just interject and say you're like one of the hardest working cosplayers I know. So
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Indeed.
I appreciate it. All right, any other questions?
I'm wondering where little Cthulhu Bob. I guess we still have time until he shows back up. So yeah, definitely. If you have any more questions.
Are you a character right now, or just?
I am a character right now. I'm being Hatsune Miku from a very specific song called Sweet Devil. That's what I'm doing right now. It's a little skimpy, but you can't really tell because everything's being covered up because it's raining. And I would be a little cold, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Just a little bit. Any other questions?
Yeah, you're kind of rocking it out there with the questions. So
Yeah.
Oh no, it's okay. Yeah. Mouse just kind of went missing in action, so it was like,
That's all right.
yeah.
If you want to go missing in action, fine. Be that way.
Any questions, Brian?
No, I don't.
44.
Hey, from Montana?
Oh
You
yeah.
said you were from Montana.
Yeah, Great Falls, born and
Great
raised.
Falls.
Actually, Lauren here is from Helena.
Yep.
Mouse is from an undisclosed location in Montana, and most of the other people, Erica, I want to say she was from Great Falls originally, but she lives here now. And then Robert is from Tennessee, but lives in Butte, Montana. So a lot of us are based in Montana, with the few exceptions of the majority of our artists actually live out of the United States. Yeah.
Yeah.
Utah's a scary place from what I hear, so there's a huge pit there.
Missoula's much nicer.
Yeah. We love Missoula.
Actually, like, this is my favorite convention to go to out of all the ones I attend. Like, this was actually the first convention I ever went to, and just the atmosphere of it is awesome. So being actually able to attend as a panelist and run demonstrations is awesome. And that's going to be our cutoff time for today. So you guys have a good day. This was the IGRE Publishing question and answer panel. I'm Erik Evjen. This is Lauren and Kuldes. Thank you.